This is the Sabbath School lesson for the fourth quarter, 2021.
Lesson 12 from our series Present Truth in Deuteronomy is titled Deuteronomy in the New Testament, ready for teaching on December 18, and I'm Percy Harrold. Friday, December 17. Just as the Old Testament quotes itself, that is, some of the prophets would quote or refer to, for example, texts from the 5 books of Moses, the New Testament is filled with direct quotes, references, and allusions to the Old. Psalms, Isaiah, and Deuteronomy were among the most quoted. Often, too, the New Testament writers would quote from what is known as the Septuagint, sometimes called the Greek Old Testament, which was the earliest known Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. The first 5 books of the Bible, known as the Torah or the Pentateuch, were translated in the 3rd century BC, and the rest of the Old Testament about the 2nd century BC. One can learn a great deal, too, about how to interpret the Bible by how the inspired writers of the New Testament used the Old. And one of the first lessons we could learn is that, unlike so much Bible scholarship today, the New Testament writers never raised any question about the authenticity or authority of the Old Testament books. Nothing in their writings revealed, for instance, doubt about the historicity of Old Testament stories, from the existence of Adam and Eve, the fall, and the flood, to the call of Abraham, and so forth. The scholarship that questions these things is just human skepticism, and it should have no place in the hearts and minds of Seventh-day Adventists. And that brings us to our 3 discussion questions for this week. 1. Considering all the light that we have been given as Seventh-day Adventists, what should it teach us about the great responsibility upon us to be faithful to the truths that we have been given? 2. Read again Deuteronomy 18:9-14. What modern manifestations of these abominations to the Lord exist today, and how can we make sure that we avoid them? Deuteronomy 18, beginning at verse 9. When you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord your God drives them out from before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God, for these nations which you will dispossess listen to soothsayers and diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not appointed such for you. And discussion question number 3. Why, of all people, should Christians who understand the universal application of Christ's death on the cross never lift up faces, as we discussed in Monday's lesson? How can we recognize in ourselves the tendency to do just that? And don't we fool ourselves if we deny that there is at least some tendency in us to do just that? How can the cross, and keeping the cross before us, cure us of this wrong attitude? Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled Unforgettable Birthday, and it's by O. Dongchun. 9-year-old x𝐃𝐎𝐿 is a popular boy at his school in rural South Korea. The teacher also likes him because he helps clean up the classroom. But x𝐃𝐎𝐿 had a problem. His friends did not want to come to his house to play after school. x𝐃𝐎𝐿 often went to their homes and saw their new toys, aquariums, and pets. But no one seemed to want to come to his house. He didn't understand why they wouldn't come to his house. One day, when x𝐃𝐎𝐿 invited a friend to play after school, the boy said, "Mother said I can play with you at school, but I cannot go to your house." "Why did your mother say that?" x𝐃𝐎𝐿 asked. "It's because your house is a church," the friend replied. x𝐃𝐎𝐿 is the son of a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and his home occupies a wing of a Seventh-day Adventist church building. Most of the town's other residents attend 3 large churches that belong to other Christian denominations in the town centre. The parents of x𝐃𝐿's friends didn't want their children going to the house inside the Adventist church. x𝐃𝐿 told his parents about the conversation at school. His parents wondered how x𝐃𝐿 could have friends over to play. Seeing that x𝐃𝐿 would soon have his birthday, they decided that instead of going out, they would celebrate at home for the first time. x𝐃𝐿 prayed earnestly, "Please let my friends come to the birthday party and have a good time," he prayed. "Give their parents a good heart toward the church." x𝐃𝐿 made birthday invitations with the name and location of the church. Together with small gifts, he gave the cards to all his classmates. Finally, x𝐃𝐿's birthday arrived. When the party started at 11 a.m., 10 friends showed up to celebrate the day with him. x𝐃𝐿 was so happy. For the first time, he could play with friends at home. From that day on, if there is a concert or another event at the church, x𝐃𝐿 makes invitations and distributes them to his classmates. He has learned that the more often his friends come to church, the more fun he has at home. Now he has 3 friends who come regularly to his house to play. He prays that someday his friends will worship with him at the church. And there's a lovely photograph of x𝐃𝐿 just here to the left. This mission story illustrates spiritual growth objective number 6 of the Seventh-day Adventist Church's I Will Go strategic plan, to increase accession, retention, reclamation and participation of children, youth and young adults. Learn more at iwillgo2020.org. This quarter, your 13th Sabbath offering will support 2 mission projects in South Korea. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind, and It Is Written. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. Remember, God is always faithful.